Okay, I'm going to show you real quick how I do my crossbucks, commonly referred to as the X pattern. You know, this thing here, well, you know, like that. I don't believe I filmed it on the L-shaped disc instructions or whatever. So what I do first is I look over, and I cut these 2x2s on the table saw from a 2x4 because the 2x2s you find at the home centers are just a little bit ridiculous. So I find my best two edges. I don't want to put them to where they're most visible. And sometimes you have like maybe one spot that might be bad. I want that like facing down, or you know, I don't want it the most visible. I always do that with everything I do now. I try to make sure that I don't put a, you know, the worst. If there happens to be a worse spot of the wood, I don't like that out on the show side or front, on the front side or anything like that. There's always places like under the very top, on the back, that if you have something really bad, you can hide it in those places. Now, and if it's to the point where it's really bad, don't even use it. But I'm just saying, every piece of wood, most cases, is going to have a better side than the other. So like I said, I try to utilize that to where it's going to be seen. Anyway, what I'm doing now is I am overlapping. Let me show you real quick. I've got this set up, you know, as far as, okay, the right angle of the upright and the bottom piece. What I'm going to do is I overlap this piece into the corner. I didn't trace this one. I'm just working so fast. I got so much to do. But I'll go from the underside. Now this is the pocket holes on the bottom of this side. This is the show side. And what I did is I lined it up, and I'll show you again. I'll go ahead and redo it. But I'll show you how I lined it up, and I go under there, and I basically, like, I'm tracing this spot right here onto this 2x2 where it overlaps. Now see, like, this corner here, I get mine to where, see with my pencil, this sharp corner. You don't go too tight, but I like to get this 2x2 lined up on that edge, and I go from the underside and I mark it. See what I mean? I've got the mark there, and I've got the mark here, okay? And I'm just going to take it over there and cut it real fast. Okay, I try to get you as close as I can. Like, I'll show you this mark right here that I have. If you can see that mark right there. What I do, if you have a laser or a light, you can just align the blade, but I like to use my light. See, it doesn't line up with the line that I have now. And I've done so many, it's usually a certain degree. And I'm not going to give you that degree because it will vary. Now, if you don't get your end panels perfectly square, this doesn't apply. And sometimes I'm off a tiny bit from the top to the bottom, so this is different. And all you do is you align your blade with the line that you just scribed, okay? And also, a really good idea is I don't commit to the line right away. I want to test it first. So what I'll do is I'll come out like 1/8 of an inch past the line, and I'll make a little score cut. Just like that. Now what I'm doing is I'm checking the score cut to see if it is parallel to the line I just made. If it is, go ahead and make your cut on the pencil line. If it's not, keep adjusting. As you can see, if it'll focus, maybe it won't focus. Anyway, I've got that cut right there at the pencil line. Sorry about the unfocusing. Now, the good thing about doing this, as far as, you know, kind of sneak up on it, so to speak, again, I've done so many, I got a feel for it, but you don't want to cut off too much. You can always continue to cut more, and I did on the last one I just did. This is the last one out of 3 end panels. I forgot to record this, like I said, so I'm trying to get it in now. This is a totally different build. It's not even an L shape, but this is the exact same end panel as the L shape gets. So I'm recording it now to show you. But now, if you cut out wide a little bit, it's better to cut a little bit excess and come back, check it with your end panel, come back and have to cut a little bit more. Because if you cut too much, you know you can't add any more back on. So again, I'm going to check this in. It looks good. Come out wide. That looks good. There we go. Okay, here we have it. Now, actually, on this piece I just cut, I had to go back and trim it 2 more times because it was a little bit on the long side. Now what I do now is I like to apply glue to my finger. You know, I control the amount, and I'm about out of glue. And I dab a little bit up here in the corner for that piece. I don't like to put it directly on my spindle, if you will, picket, whatever you want to call it. It's not a problem. It's just do what I like to do. Now, I have also marked a T on there for top, which I know, and that just relates in case this wasn't identically square. If it was off a tiny bit, I try to get them as square as possible. Sometimes it just doesn't work out perfectly. And when I say out of square, I mean, if I'm out of square on this, it's like bare. I do check with my square, my speed square, on all angles. And if it's, usually if one side's out and those sides, those are going to be the ones that are out. I mean, when I say, I'm talking like a 1/16 of an inch. Again, you know, this is pine farmhouse style desk furniture. It doesn't have to be, but I do strive to get it perfectly square, and a lot of times I do. If I'm out for like a 1/16 of an inch, it's okay, but that just relates to these two lines aren't going to be identical when you get to the saw up there, and sometimes you have to adjust. Now, again, that's why I make that T on there, so I know this piece goes at the top. I just want to put it exactly back where I traced it. Okay, now it's just a matter, so I've got it already cut. So what we did again so far, we've lined it up with the end panel, scribed lines from the underside, took it to the miter saw, cut those pieces to match the angles of the scribes. I put glue in the corners of the end panel, and now all I'm going to do now is I'm going to come up here with my brad nailer and shoot it right in the corner. These sawhorses are all kinds of, you see this thing wobbling, it's these sawhorses. They're metal. I trip over them more than I do anything else, but it's good because it's not being a table. You can get under the edges and trace those lines. Now I just flip it on over. Again, you can see this is the pocket hole side, which is not the outside show side, and I do the same thing on this side. 45-degree angle with that very corner into the apron, and that's done. Go on now, the other part is the same exact way. I'm going to put it this way because I want these pieces, like I said, these sawhorses, they're just janky. I don't worry about it. Just want you to understand. It's not the end panel's not off. It's just the sawhorses aren't even level. Again, looking at my wood to make sure I get the best piece. Okay, you do the same thing. I want to get you over here where you can probably see better. Looking down on that corner. Okay, I take this piece of wood and I want it to line up right about, watch this, like right there. I don't want to go too tight, and you don't want to gap like that. Get it close like that as you can, maybe a 1/16. And see how the one up here, move it back. Let's see, here we are. Move it back. All right, so you can see what I'm doing. Like, it's the same as the first one. Let me put you back down here. Same as the first one, except now I've also got to trace out, because this will be 2 pieces going around. This one is prominent. The first one I did is one long piece. This one has got to be cut also here in the middle, which is no problem. I just can't find my pencil. Okay, I found my elusive pencil. I want to show you something I started off doing. When you get this second piece lined up, it's overlapping on your corners like you need it. You're ready to do your traces, but remember, you also got to trace here in the center for this first crossbuck piece we did. I don't do it anymore because I'm just really good at holding it, but I recommend, I at least want to show you what I started doing. Again, I've just done so many of these. The more you do something repetitive, the more efficient, and you find better ways to do something you previously did. I take a clamp and I'll lock it down so I know it doesn't move. Okay, and that also gives you the ability not to move it, give yourself more room. Like I'm going to get up under here and trace this first one, and come up under here and trace this middle one, tight to the corner, use where it overlaps, and trace this next one. And then again, come up to the very, very top, and I see with the clamp there, and I still can do it by hand, but I move it, give myself a little more room, and I trace the top one. Now, before I even take it off, I'm going to put a T on the outside here, so I know this is the top piece. And I'll put a little bead on here, closer to the bottom, so that I know that's the bottom piece. once I make my first cuts here, I'll transfer that T to the end grain after I cut that piece. That way, after I sand it off and I come back to my part, I look at the end grain and I still know which one's top, which one's bottom, because all these angles you got going on, they will fit perfectly back here as long as you know it goes here. So I'm going to get this cut and get on with it and let you see how it goes together. Okay, I got these two pieces cut out like I showed you earlier. I went ahead back and labeled the bottom one with a B, and you can only imagine the top one has a T on there. If you don't believe me, I'll show you. That's upside down. Anyway, that helps a lot so I know which ones go where. And I like to dry fit them in here. It's not ever a good idea to drop the piece like that because it could drop on one of your sharp corners and put a little dent in it, but I promise you that was not on purpose. Yeah, you always like to test fit them really good to make sure everything looks good. Everything looks good. Now, just a matter of applying the glue. Again, I'm almost out of glue. Takes 4 times longer than it should. Put a little up here in the corner. Now, if you were staining this, you better be very careful about squeeze out. It's not the end of the world as you know it, but if you get some squeeze out, get it off before it dries. You can use a wet rag to wipe it, and you're probably going to still have some haze residual from wiping it. Just get in there with some sandpaper after it dries and get that glue off, because you will be hating life if you are trying to make a really nice piece, especially for sale or for somebody, and you have glue and you try to stain over it, because it never works. Now I get down here. You really got to get that angle. I'm going to shoot this one first. Actually, I'm not, because I saw it move. You really want to get... Actually, the tripod's in my way from where I need to be. I'm trying to come around to... This is an 18 gauge brad nailer. This is not a... this is a decorative piece, in other words, what I'm trying to say. It's fine, because I got the glue and I got these brad nails in there. I even grab them by these pickets after I put them together and pick them up. I mean, you know, structurally, it's like I said, it's not a structural piece. But by doing behave yourself, the glue and the brad nails, it's more than enough. When I first started doing these, I was doing like, I hate these sawhorses. I was doing like, put more glue on that one. I was running screws down through them and all kinds of crazy overkill. It's just not necessary. But if you want to go overkill, by all means, go overkill. Just don't go overkill on the places where it's not going to notice. I mean, because if I strengthen that up with, you know, 4 nails per each side, plus glue, plus a screw, no one will ever know. And no one will ever know because it's never going to be tested. If you're going to go overkill, sand a little bit more. You know what I mean? You stop at 220 grit, go a little higher. These sawhorses, I tell you, they're horrible. Got that one. Round it up. And now everything, get 2 pieces. Now you just flip it on over and get the other side. And this piece here, I go right in the corner, about a 1/2 inch back. And see, that brad actually stuck up a little bit. It's not going to be a problem, because I also come back and I sand these, and it'll sand on down, and we're using paint, so there it is. It's that simple. This one's done, but like I said, real quick, let me just show you the sandpaper. I've got my money's worth out of this. That brad's a little bit high right there. Not anymore. That thick paint will just cover right over it. I'm going to go ahead and give these a real quick sand over once more. And I say pardon the mess. Shop's a huge mess right now, but as you can see, there's 2 more already done. Okay, hope this helps you. Like I said, I forgot to add it to the other video, the L-shaped disc, but this is how I do my crossbucks. Hope this helps. And thanks for watching.